The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of May 20th, 2019. My name is Taylor Cooper, and this is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
CJ's in the house. What up, CJ?
For a good cause.
The blue ribbons are for a good cause. Explain this to me. What are they for?
Apparently, you buy PBR, you're giving a minute of studio time to an emerging artist.
Oh, shout out to all the emerging artists out there.
We get a six-pack every week to do this show. Sometimes it's good beer, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Today is one of those premium blue ribbon winner beers.
It's one of the best days.
PBR.
It's one of the best days. I agree. I love PBR.
Last
So
week
good.
was the green beer that's in there.
Rolling Rock. I like that. Yeah.
And I just opened your fridge and saw that the beer's still there.
Haven't touched it.
And so that might have been one of the down weeks.
No. We were out of town this weekend. We didn't really. Yeah.
I mean, nobody loves Rolling Rock.
Or last weekend. We were
I
out of
enjoy
town.
it. It's okay. It used to be my favorite beer in college when I was dumb.
What, PBR?
They also changed it since you were in college.
Isn't it interesting that when you're in college, that's when you're dumb? Don't know anything.
I didn't go to college, so does that make me extra dumb?
Well, I mean, you could just fill it. It's just that time period of
it's
life.
just like crazy drinking,
18
escapades.
to 22,
Yeah,
23.
oh yeah, definitely. I was definitely dumb from like 18 to 28. That whole like decade was just pure stupidity. Anyway, Andrew DeCecco isn't with us, but he's going to call us in a little bit, and we're going to talk about Eagles OTAs.
We're just going to roll right into it. We're going to be talking about, I don't know, maybe the Survivor finale or something, and then he's just going to call up and cut me off with that, which is really what I need. And we are going to get into some Survivor because they did have the finale.
Did it go the way that you wanted it to go?
No. But it went in. There was a Survivor first. So you want me to just get into it? Get this out of the way?
Might as well just get into it.
All right. So here's what happened.
We're already talking about it. This might be sports.
So this year's season of Survivor, as I've discussed, is called, they've always had like an island that you go to.
Right.
You don't necessarily get obviously they go to an island, they play the game, but there was a separate island. This year was called the Edge of Extinction.
Oh.
And they've had a separate island before where like you don't necessarily get voted out, but you have to go to this island by yourself for the whole week. You're not out of the game. This was the first year where you get voted out and you secretly go to this separate island.
Oh, okay. So the separate island is called the Edge of Extinction, or this season was called the Edge of Extinction?
The season was, and the island.
Okay.
So the island was the Edge of Extinction. Well, what was interesting is you didn't know that it existed until you got voted out.
Oh.
So the first few people that got voted out, they think they're done. They go down this road and they get presented an option. Do you want to continue with the game, or do you want to go to this sweet hotel and start partying for the rest of the month?
Wow.
And there was the first two of the first like 3 or 4 people that got voted off. Your pride, you have to go to this island.
Yeah.
But then later on, they were given the option to leave, and they just left. And you knew they were kind of weak, and they just wanted to party.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, I talk on Twitter to Scott Pollard, former NBA player and Survivor contestant, and actually we talked with the one guy. His name escapes me right now. I'm terrible with names today. We interviewed a former Survivor contestant, and he told us that it's a party. Like when you're done, all expenses paid. It's insane. Like It's a really great time. And that's actually where some of the people do their most bonding is when they come together and just have a great time in Fiji.
Well, the cameras are off there too, right? I mean, it's not like it's certainly not a produced part of the show.
Right. And I always thought that should be like part of the show.
Or at least like part of the reunion special or something.
And I think there is I'm a fan. I'm not like a super fan where I listen to like Survivor podcasts and like do all that kind of stuff. I mean,
do they have those?
This is my I'm sure there is.
There has to be.
There has to be.
Yeah.
But I think there is something like a version of what goes on after people get voted out. But yeah, I don't know. So it was weird. So this season, I was rooting for a guy. He was I forget where he was from, but he was one of those guys leading the entire season, making moves, blindside after blindside. Those guys always get voted out at the end. Always. Because they're too strong. And at the end, the people you voted off, they vote for you to win or lose. And if you played a great game, no matter if you voted people out, they respect you played a great game.
Right.
So he, because of that, and there's two versions of it. I don't want to get into the weeds. Let's just say this version, 3 people at the end, they decide who wins out of the 3. So if you're down to 4, it would be logical they would vote out the one that has the highest chance to get voted out. They would just vote him out. It's done. There's no drama at all because why would you keep the guy that's going to have the most votes? He's done. There's no way to spin that for a reality show. So what they started doing was you don't when it gets down to 4, you don't decide who goes home.
Right.
You decide who makes a fire, and whoever makes the fire to burn the rope thing, they stay. So you decide the 2 people of the 4 who make the fire. So the guy I liked, long story short, didn't make the damn fire. And it's so dumb because he was going up against a guy who ended up winning the damn show, came back from the edge of extinction, first time it's ever happened, got voted off the damn show and ended up winning the damn show.
The guy came back from the edge of extinction.
Yes.
And won.
But here's what's crazy. So, and again, I'm terrible with names today. I don't feel like looking it up on my damn phone. Nobody cares anyway but me. So he wins. Like
I hope you're wrong.
He was on the edge of extinction. He was on the edge of extinction the entire damn show.
Yeah.
Like the entire time he's there. So he comes back and it's logical. He's thinking to himself, why would they vote me to win when I was voted off so early? I didn't really have to deal with, like, there was no risk of me getting voted off week after week after week. I was sitting there on the edge of extinction. Yeah, I fought and won my way back into the game, but just once.
Right.
I just had to sit on my ass until that one time I fought my way back in. So what he did was, at the very end, he won the immunity challenge. He could have been sitting as one of those 3, 100%. And he chooses which 2 make the fire. He chose himself to make the fire because he was thinking, I don't have enough. I don't have a resume. I'm going to put my feet literally to the fire. And I'm going to, if I lose here, I lose. If I win, it's a really good case to give me $1 million.
Wow.
And that's what he did. And he made the fire. He won, ended up winning the show, $1 million decision. Pretty cool show.
Back from the edge of extinction.
Wait, what were you saying? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed.
So now that's all over. We're not going to get into that till next season.
I'm sorry that your guy didn't win, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. It sounds like you enjoyed it.
But the singer Sia,
yeah,
I'm sure you know a hell of a lot more about Sia than I know about Sia.
Maybe
she always gives out of her own bank account $100,000 to who she thought was her favorite player or the best player. Typically, I don't think it's ever been the person who actually won, but like she likes to give like a second prize.
Oh,
so my guy, I remember his name, Rick Devens. So Rick Devens got the $100,000 from Sia. So he got something. I like when they're the best players. They got voted off because they're the best. The people left don't want to have to go up against them. That's what sucks about this show. I call it a sport. The one problem is, too often the best player doesn't win. So I wish there was... They used to have like a best player award at the end of the year. You know, Sia's giving it out now out of her own damn pocket, but I wish it was like a rule.
Huh.
I don't know why they got rid of that rule. They should bring it back. I'm angry. I'm not really angry, but it's a great show. Hey, Survivor, come on. I mean, you know, soccer's starting to tank right now in the U.S. I think watch some Survivor. It's a sport. Get past like the cooked version. Like, you know, it's reality TV. It's cooked a little bit. You know, figure it out on your own. Use your head. It's still amazing television. It's still a sport. It's entertaining as hell. And I mean, really, are you watching hockey right now? Are you?
Somebody is. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a little embarrassed to say I'm not sure who's left in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I mean, it's
I have
it's
no
not
idea.
that great a product.
I have no idea.
I mean, how
Bad.
can you say no one's watching soccer when the Philadelphia Union are number one in the Eastern
That's
Conference?
why we can say that. So we're
It's good.
practically in Philadelphia right now.
I've been to a few of their games. It's fun down there. It's fun down there. They have a nice little stadium. The crowd gets hyped. Very energized. I went there. I don't know the name of the guy.
But did you go there when the Sixers and Flyers were down
No.
and Phillies? When was the last time you went to a Union game?
Last year.
All right.
Last season. I see the thing. I don't know anything about MLS. Like I really don't. So I don't know when the season ends. But I think I went to like one of their last games last year, and but I really I don't know. I don't know what like number of game it was for them. But
I mean, it was
every time I've gone to a Union game though, they've won. And we went to a scrimmage game as well for the U.S. national team. I think they were playing Colombia, maybe. I don't know, but they smashed them.
All right. You know what guy I can't hang out with? Guy who at the game has to announce to everyone they win every time I come to the game.
Yo, I don't even know. I'm just
Every
saying.
time I go, they win. No, I mean, I'm not saying you're that
the
guy.
superstitious guy.
But the guy that
is just-
has to
That has
announce
to
it
throw
when he's
that out
there.
Yeah.
Dude, every time I come to a game, they win. And there's always somebody,
I've
usually
seen so many of those people.
their
yeah.
wife saying, didn't they lose last time?
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, well, yeah, but like, seriously, it's been like 8 games. They lose 1. It's crazy. They win every time. Everybody says that. It's insane.
It's fun down there.
I'm guilty of that. I try not to be that guy. I hate that guy. So like, what do you want? Like, who ever heard that and it's like, well, have you heard this?
Right.
Stan, get over here. Do you hear what Chris just said? Every time he comes to a game, they win. This is unbelievable. Call Channel 6.
I've never met anybody like you.
That's crazy.
So crazy.
I hate that guy. I can't hang with that guy.
But I can't get into Major League Soccer because there's so much flops. Like it's worse. I feel like it's worse than the NBA. I feel like it's worse than the NFL.
Well, yeah, it's
like the
worse.
flops, and it bothers me because even you think it's bad watching that happen on TV. It's worse when you go to the game.
No one's been able to explain to me how that's not bad sportsmanship.
I don't get it. They should get thrown out of the game. It's so stupid. Like some of it is just so blatant. And the fact of it, like the worst part of it is that like you don't see it in other sports, not as bad, to where they're like rolling around, screaming at the top of their lungs. Oh, here's Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Did we say that Andrew would be calling in, or did I just like step all over that with my Survivor talk?
No, I mentioned it.
Yeah, Andrew, we got the Survivor talk out of the way already.
Yeah, first thing we like led into the show with it, which we are recording right now, Andrew, by the way. Andrew, our trusty co-host he writes for the Eagles Wire, USA Today. Andrew, Eagles OTAs just started today as we're speaking. How hype are you about this?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I had you on mute. Andrew, can you hear me now?
Yeah, man.
All right, sorry.
All right. So we're saying, we got the Survivor talk out of the way. We know how you don't like that.
Yeah, we already got that out of the way.
But
Oh, thank God.
yeah. But Andrew, how hype are you for Eagles OTAs?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited. Football is right around the corner. Training camp will be here in a couple months. One of the big stories coming in to OTAs was that Malcolm Jenkins won't be there. He wasn't there today.
Right, he wasn't there today. And what's up with that?
what are you hearing? Like, is this
Well, I mean, there hasn't been a concrete answer, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that it has something to do with some of the paydays and some of these safeties that you saw. Your Landon Collins getting free agency. Jenkins is the ninth highest safety. For an average salary. That's pretty low. He does a lot for the Eagles. He played 1,039 snaps, all of the defensive snaps last season. So
how many years does he have left on his contract?
2.
He has 2 years left. And that's like, you see this a lot, like with players that seemingly the team has all the control. But I mean,
Well,
2 years seems like a lot of time. I would understand if this was 1 year left. 2 years seems like he has no bargaining power at all whatsoever.
Well, I mean, the guy's been a pillar in the community, a pillar in the locker room. Since he came on board in 2014, he's played 5,579 snaps. Out of 5,669 snaps, which is like 98.4% of the snaps. So I mean, like he's done it. He's done everything the team's asked of him. He's one of the best players in the league at his position. So I think that he deserves a raise.
I agree. I think it sucks though because his age, he's getting up there. I mean, but I think he's a true obvious leader of the team, certainly the defense, and that's got to be worth something. I would hate to see them make the same mistake they made with Brian Dawkins with letting him go.
I think they'll do it right this time. I think Malcolm will eventually get paid. I think they're going to do right by him and not make that same mistake.
Yeah, I hope so. So what else is new, Andrew? What else is going on at OTAs? What are you looking for out there?
Well, in case you haven't heard, Chris Long retired.
Yep.
That happened on Saturday. He announced his retirement on Twitter. So basically that creates 59. Like Chris Long played 59% of the snaps last season. He played 612 snaps. So that production is going to have to come from somewhere. And you look at, last season they drafted Josh Sweat from Florida State in the 4th round. They drafted Sharif Miller from Penn State this year in the 4th round. And you have a holdover and Joe Osman, who is a practice squad standout. And then you have Deshaun Hall, who they claimed off the Texans practice squad last season and early December. So what I think will happen, I like Deshaun Hall as a player who can kind of be like a dark horse player to take some of those snaps. He played only 16 defensive snaps last year, 39 on special teams, but he produced his whole NFL stat line in one game last season against the Texans. He had 3 tackles, a half sack, and 4 defensive snaps. So the potential's there. He was a former 3rd-round pick, 77th overall from the Panthers in 2017. I think he's an intriguing guy. He's a long body, lengthy guy, 6'6", 275. And, I think he's a guy that, will be competing for some of those snaps. And, Josh Sweat's another guy who people are intrigued by. He's the most athletic defensive end on the roster. He needed to get stronger. He suffered some injuries, and he has a lengthy injury history dating back to high school. And had it not been for that, he would have been a high pick last year. That's the Eagles got him. Was regarded as a steal in the 4th round last year. So he'll be another guy to watch. And if these guys don't perform, they're going to have to reach out to look for external help, maybe a veteran like a Derek Morgan or something like that.
Speaking of long history of injuries, I see that Carson Wentz was out there minus the knee brace. He has no restrictions. So far, it looks pretty good. What do you think about it?
No, man. Ian Rappaport came out with the story yesterday that there would be no limitations, and he's out there with no brace. He looked good, and what I saw, firing some balls. It's granted it's OTA, it's the first practice, but he looks smooth out there, and that's what you want to see. He's looking for that payday, and he needs to prove that he can stay healthy and be that guy moving forward.
Agreed. Reedy.
So what do you think about so Darren Sproles? He hasn't retired. He's a free agent currently. Is there a chance? There has to be something about him not retiring. I'm wondering, he's not going to go to another team. I'm thinking it's Eagles or bust. But is he waiting for someone to get hurt, basically, so he can jump in?
He's a veteran, so he's thinking like a veteran. I think he's trying to hold off, as long as possible, skip these OTAs, skip the mandatory mini camps, and maybe hold off training camp. I think he'll make his decision probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would assume. I think looking at the depth at the running back position, there isn't a player that has his skill set. So I think, he knows that, the team needs him. And I think that, he knows that he'll have a role and snaps will be there. So I think I think the door is left open for him returning. If he doesn't return, I think you're looking at a Wendell Smallwood, Josh Josh Adams and Boston Scott competition for the fourth running back job. Josh Adams is a guy who he came on strong, and a lot of people are really high on him. But I'm not as high on him as many are because he struggled in short yardage situations. And, at 225 pounds, he was coming out of the game for Wendell Smallwood, who weighs 208 pounds. You look at the Rams game, Wendell Smallwood got 5 critical first downs and averaged 4.8 yards a carry, and Josh Adams averaged, I think, it was like a paltry 2.5 yards a carry, which, and you kind of saw his role reduce as the season went on.
Yeah, it just seems. I mean, they traded for the guy from Chicago, and they draft Miles Sanders out of Penn State. I think the other day, Saquon Barkley said he's the best, running back in the draft. He's biased, of course. Both guys from Penn State. We got those 2 guys are going to play, 100%. And then you got, guys you mentioned,
Corey Clement,
like a bunch of guys. I wonder if those are the kind of guys that, do they have a chance to leave the team? Because, I mean, now you're getting down to like a specific role. Your 4th and 5th running back guys. Right. And doesn't Darren Sproles do that job better? He does like a specific role in that 4th and 5th spot. I mean, returning punts, all that kind of thing.
Right.
And they run specific plays just for Darren Sproles.
Right.
That's why I think he'll leave the door open to possibly returning, because he knows that, unlike Chris Long, who knew that the snaps weren't going to be there, it was never a money thing with Chris Long. It was a snap issue, a playing time issue. I think that Sproles knows, kind of just what you said, that the opportunity is going to be there because there isn't really a running back on the roster that has his skill set.
And then, just to shift gears, Tyreek Hill. Like, is there anything new on him? I know the investigation is still going on and all that, but do you think, in your opinion, do you think he's going to be playing next year? Or, I mean, for sure he's going to be suspended, you would think, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything new on the Tyreek Hill front. He'll definitely be suspended, but I think he'll be suiting up for the Chiefs. Unfortunately, that's the vibe I get.
Wow.
So, do you think, which is potentially insane,
and
it's so wild because don't they have Tyrann Mathieu too?
You could see it though, right? I mean, like you saw that coming out of college with the Joe Mixon thing, and you're like, there's no way, and he was lining up in the backfield on Sundays.
Yeah.
But they're kind of turning into, I mean, Andy Reid, his reputation is like taking a hard right now. And it's weird because the Chiefs are turning into like the new Bengals, like what the Bengals were.
Well, the thing, he should have known better with Tyreek Hill. The reason why Tyreek Hill was available, and I believe it was the 5th round, is because, there was reports that he beat his pregnant girlfriend. So, you're noticing like a disturbing pattern, and that's not the type of player you want in your team, let alone in the league. You know what I mean? So there's obviously no place for that. And, if you followed if you saw like the direction that he was trending, that's not something that you want around.
I wonder what Roger Goodell's going to do about this eventually. I wonder if like the league is going to have to step in and have some sort of just a rule that like if you get arrested for this or something along those lines that you're done. Like zero tolerance policy for this.
Well, I think they should if they want to, because at the end of the day, Roger Goodell is going to do whatever he can to protect the shield, the brand,
right?
And that would be smart on his behalf, because right now you're seeing guys getting arrested and these stories coming up at an alarming rate,
especially for this domestic abuse stuff. I mean, it's horrendous. These guys are a lot of times they're obviously physically dominant in their roles. These guys train every day. They're physical wrecking balls, some of them, and it's just absolutely crazy.
And you know what? Actually, this is about what CJ. I don't want to step on anything CJ might bring up with the TMZ rapid fire later on, but Zeke Elliott yesterday, 2 days ago, I don't know what it was.
He was just arrested,
handcuffed in Vegas, and I just looked at this story now. I'm looking up, Tyreek Hill stuff, and it seems like it's the same guys over and over again. But I mean, not knowing much about this story, I guess we'll get into it. Handcuffed tells me he wasn't arrested. So
No,
I
he
mean,
wasn't arrested. No, it was. I think he allegedly shoved the security guard and he was put in handcuffs. But as far as I know, he wasn't arrested. I did see a report. If you look on Twitter, you probably see it floating around that I think it was Goodell that said, any kind of infraction where he gets arrested, there's a potential banishment from the NFL. Now that he
crazy.
wasn't arrested, but I definitely I think it was Ian Rappaport that tweeted that, but somebody brought it up. I think it was when he was drafted.
I don't think the NFL is really going to step on this crimes with player things until they see what the how it goes for the XFL, since that's XFL's big policy is no players with criminal records.
Right.
Sadly, the only way that they'll do that is if they start to see their ratings slip.
Right.
yeah, and the NFL's not worried about the XFL. I mean,
No,
especially with.
but I mean,
No.
I see it from like a PR standpoint when people start going, yeah, this young kid that would have never got. Look at this kid for the shot he would have never had because he would have been behind these three people. I think you're going to get noticed, and then it's going to draw them doing better things in the community and this and that, depending on how this XFL thing goes. And if the NFL adopts it, these good people are going to move up to what's considered the big time.
Right.
It's so weird because like my instinct says, well, you have all these guys and like, yeah, they're going to get in trouble with the law sometimes. And like, it's just a coincidence that, these things happen. You shouldn't punish them just because they get arrested for stuff. It's like, no, wait. If I get arrested for like half this stuff,
You have to look at it like, well,
I
what
would
if
lose
you
my
were in their
job.
spot?
We would all, it's like,
Yeah.
we're not asking that much. Don't hit your kid. Don't hit your wife or girlfriend. I mean,
Don't
it actually
drive drunk.
is that easy.
Right.
Oh, wait. Andrew, don't drive. Come on. We're enjoying beverages right now. I'm kidding. I mean,
You are.
It's PBR. We can drink 3 of these in an hour's time, and it's the same as water.
Here, this just popped in my head too. I think it will draw a better game because you have these younger new blood players in because someone gets in trouble, they're out.
Yeah.
And usually they get in trouble after a couple years of playing the sport. So now you have all these
Right.
more competitive, hungry, younger players competing.
As long as it doesn't affect the quality, because you can be as hungry as you want, but you're in the XFL.
That's true.
You're not in an NFL training camp. If you were somebody that was looked at by the NFL, you'd be at least invited to. You'd be on someone's 90-man training camp roster.
And I would say name one instance off the top of my head. I can't think of one where
Rod Smart,
a player.
he hate me from the XFL.
No. I'm saying one player in their prime that was banished from a major sport, baseball, football, hockey, any of it. I can't think of one guy that did something so bad he was banished in his prime. So,
Well,
if
I mean,
the
I
NFL
guess
were to
I
do
guess
something
you
like
could say-
that,
you could say Ray Rice, but he wasn't technically banished. Just nobody signed him.
right? And that's the reason why
He
is
was
because he was on the
effectively-
tail end.
Yeah,
he was
well,
like 28, 29.
And I don't know. That was like the first major thing, and I kind of think he got blackballed. I mean, somebody would have
Well,
picked him up.
I got one for you. Justin Blackman, wide receiver from Oklahoma State.
Okay.
He was a first-round pick. I think he got in trouble with drugs, and then he got in trouble with it was a DUI, and I think he was just banned from the league. And I think this was when he was like 25 or 26 years old.
That's
Wow.
actually crazy because I forgot he existed.
Remember him though? He killed
Yeah.
it.
I remember
That's
that,
an amazing
vaguely.
example because until you just mentioned him, I'm like, holy shit. He was really talented. And
Yeah.
he just could not get out of his own way. He was really good. I forgot all about him. Man, yeah, I'm looking him up now. Shoot, he had all the tools.
He was suspended for a while. He came back for like 2 or 3 weeks, killed it, and I had him in fantasy. And then he got in trouble again, and we was never heard from him again.
Yeah, I mean, his very first year, 14 game starts, 865 yards, 5 touchdowns. The next year in 4 games, 415 yards. So
Wow.
over 100 yards a game. And then
He played with Des Bryant at Oklahoma State.
24 out of the league. And that was 2014. I forgot he existed. All right. Andrew, this is why you're the king. That's a great example. I couldn't
I do what I
think of
can.
one example, and that is a great example. And then, how about like we just don't hear from him again? Just gone.
Like I've never heard a word about Justin Blackman
And
since
it's
like
been
2014.
5 years.
Yeah,
I
What the hell
haven't
is
said it.
going
I haven't
on?
said his name. This is the first time I've said his name since 2014.
That's got to be a 30 for 30 short or something. Like, what's going on now? Hopefully, he's running like a successful like lemonade stand or something. I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, hopefully, he's doing something good for himself. But
Sounds
it's-
accurate.
It's not. I mean, usually it doesn't end up that well. I mean, it's.
He's probably ripping tickets at at a toll booth somewhere.
right.
He's probably not playing football, but
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
damn shame. But that's how. I mean, that's how
He's
these
playing.
things
He's
go.
playing for the Mean Machine in jail, probably.
Right.
It's not good, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, if the NFL were to come down on a guy that like Tyreek Hill, one of the best in the league,
Right.
and actually, way better than Justin Blackman, it would be the first time, or an Ezekiel Elliott, would be the first time any major sport said, you know what, you can't play for us anymore. You're done.
The Blade Runner is banned for life.
Who's that?
That's not a.
The guy with the runner with
Yeah.
that killed his girlfriend.
Yeah. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the 200-meter sprint is, a major sport.
Well, Andrew, we're up against it with time, man. I really appreciate you being on with us, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, Andrew. Thanks so much, bud.
You got it, guys. See you.
See ya. Real quick before we take break, I just want to talk real fast about Patreon. Patreon is up and running. We have been talking about it for the past few weeks since we came back. It is up and running. You go to www.patreon.com/MBN Network. It's the easiest way to find us.
It sounds like a Marvel character. Patreon.
I agree. It could be like a bad guy or a good guy. I don't know. I can't really.
Could go either way. Like
Yeah,
like Ultron.
exactly.
And the Avengers thing. This is why I'm here. I add great commentary. I interject for no reason at all. Totally screw everything up.
we
and,
have
derail the entire deal.
3 tiers for this:
3.
bronze, silver, and gold. Plans start at $5. For the bronze pack, you get immediate access to our Patreon exclusive 90-minute episodes. That includes this episode. Okay. This episode, we're going for an extra half hour. Every week from now on, we're going for an extra half hour. And those extra half hours, the whole 90 minutes goes on Patreon. Everybody else gets their normal hour-long show. So they're not missing anything there except for the exclusive 90-minute add-on. And plus the bronze people get a t-shirt with your preferred show logo on it. Whatever show you listen to, whatever show you like the most, whatever you want to wear out there, that's what we put on it for you. Silver, you get the 90-minute episodes. You get the t-shirt. You get an autographed copy of Incredible Baseball Stats by
Cool
Kevin
book.
Reavy and Ryan Spader. And you get immediate access to all Patreon exclusive shows. This includes, I want to get a group of people from the network together to talk about Game of Thrones. We're going to put it on Patreon. I want to, when we start our network fantasy football league, we're going to do some fun, fantasy football episodes. We're going to put on Patreon.
I came up with the perfect trophy for it. Championship belt.
Yes. I want a material item that whoever wins can hold on to until they have to give it up.
One quick aside, as is my brand. Haven't you always felt like bronze is way better than silver? Because like if you're saying like I won the bronze, people be like, "Holy shit, you squeaked out a medal in the Olympics? Tell me what happened, Uncle Johnny." When you win the silver, it's like, yikes, what happened?
In
You were
this case,
so close.
in
You
this
were
case-
so close to gold.
silver is definitely better than bronze, at least in the fact that you get more
Right.
shit.
It just immediately makes me think of the Olympics. My entire life, I always thought, how cool would it be to win a bronze medal? Maybe it says a lot about me that like I'm just trying to be up there.
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
care where.
if you won the gold, that's probably the best story. Then they make this huge underdog movie.
Obviously, gold is best. Nobody's arguing that. I'm saying I think bronze is literally better than silver because silver is like, ooh, yikes. So what went wrong? You were this close. Bronze is like, sweet. You were almost fourth and you fucking pulled it out. Nice job.
Silver's the middle child that everyone forgets about.
Yeah, I think it's way better to be bronze than silver. I think we could do it. We do a Twitter poll of this right now, and I guarantee you people would rather have a bronze than a silver.
Patreon.
Yes.
Silver level Patreon. $10 a month. You get the 90-minute episodes, the t-shirt, the autograph book, and you'll also get one entry into our monthly giveaway thing. We're going to give away some cool shit every month. You get one entry into it if you're on the silver pack. If you do the gold, you get the 90-minute episodes. You get the t-shirt. You get the autograph book. You get the exclusive Patreon-only episodes. You get an autograph piece of Novak and Franz show merch. And you get 2 entries into our monthly giveaway. And this is just the beginning. We're going to add more to these things. We're going to add different things. We're going to see what people like. That's the thing, too. If you're on Patreon, you can communicate directly with us. We want to hear from you. If you want to support us, we want to hear from you. We want to talk about what you want us to talk about. We want to hear from you. Take suggestions. We want to answer questions. All of that stuff. Patreon.com/MBN Network. It's easy. That's the easiest way to find us. If you just go on Patreon and search for us, you might have difficulty because of parental controls. Okay, because we are for mature audiences only. So kids can't find us, whatever.
Which is fucking bullshit, by the way.
Kevin apparently says bad words, so.
I actually don't like to curse that much.
But
I already
the one thing I want to
rules
see on Patreon, I want to see an episode. So I heard the girls talking about Allison cooking.
Yes.
I want Joe Keane being a 4-star chef to be in the kitchen with Allison.
That would be fantastic.
It would drive him insane.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have another special guest. We're going to talk to an artist by the name of S. Preston. He is a licensed artist for Major League Baseball.
The hottest sports artist in the game right now. Guy's got an amazing story. Can't wait to talk to him.
Very cool. We'll be right back with more Might Be Sports.
Loud, brash, controversial, and now completely uncensored. Foundation Radio is joining the Might Be News Network. Foundation Radio, exclusively on the Might Be News Network podcast. Just search Might Be News Network to listen and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and everywhere podcasts are found. New episodes every other Thursday.
Welcome back to Might Be Sports. I'm Taylor Cooper with Kevin Reevy and CJ, and we have S. Preston on the line with us. This is an artist. He's a Major League Baseball licensed artist. He has a studio in Anaheim, California. Preston, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
Thank you so much for being on the show with us. Kevin showed me a link to your art, and I have to say it's absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
I spent a lot of the afternoon just kind of cruising through your website, and I saw so many very, very cool things. Not even just baseball related stuff. Like I was going through like your pop culture stuff and very, very cool stuff.
Thank you. It's definitely a unique take on art of baseball and baseball art in general.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So I found you on Twitter. I mean, you were following, I think, me and Ryan for our baseball book, and that's how I found you. And I was like blown away by all your stuff. I've been following you for a while, and it just dawned on me, like, you know, our show is called Might Be Sports. Like, we deal with a lot of stuff that is intense sports, but also, you know, might be sports. And this kind of fits perfectly for that. And, you know, I'm reading your story. Like, I gotta talk to this guy. Your story is unbelievable. And what I gotta know is, like, when was like the eureka moment? You do like this minimalist design thing. When did you know, like, or did you know at all that this was it? Or when did you know that it was going to be such a hot thing?
I actually didn't know. So throughout my career, I think all of us, when we're on our job, we have our day job and our salary job, and we have these dreams that we'd like to do something different, or our hobbies would suddenly become our career if it happens to be. So all this time, whenever I was a graphic designer in a major corporation for many years, and on the side, I was throwing out artwork, different designs, different minimalist designs, different sketches on the internet. Some of them sort of popped up and dribbled up, and they were gone the next day. But I've always never been scared to share my artwork on the internet. I kind of know how information flows. I've worked on the internet for years, so I've always been sharing and reading comments, and this happened to blow up. And at that time, I thought it would just sort of disappear after a week or two. I'd make a bunch of sales. Things would, people get a bunch of internet Yahoo, and then all of a sudden it's gone. But it just sort of never stopped. It just kept on going and going. And that's sort of when I knew that this is something special here that I've done.
When did the whole connection between you and Major League Baseball take place, and how did that work out?
Oh, that was an interesting story. So I was selling online, and I had all this artwork. Now, architecture itself is open game when it comes to artwork. You can take a picture of a building and sell a print of it. There's no trademarks to that. So I knew I was sort of in the right, but it comes down to who has the bigger lawyers, really, at the end of the day.
Right.
So I had a great Christmas that year. We're selling a ton of prints, and I got this message on my phone. And I was like, "We are the MLB. We need to talk to you right away." And you need to call this number. I freaked out. Yeah, I assumed there was going to be a cease and desist. Please stop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Called them up, and they were like, "No, this is great. We've been tracking. We've seen this. We think this is a great product for baseball, and we want to embrace it. We think it's celebrating the stadium, celebrating minimalism, a new art style is exactly what we've been looking for." So, boom, here comes the license. I didn't know anything about the business end of the licensing, so I got a business partner, and off we ran. So yeah, it was really cool. That was. People, this does not happen. This never happens.
Your art is very, very colorful and very vibrant. And what you're doing is you're taking a minimalist look and painting the stadiums, right? It's basically just like kind of the front of the stadium, or more or less the most recognizable part, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we're doing this on audio, so that you can't actually see the artwork. But essentially, what I did is I took an iconic element of every ballpark, and I think baseball, this works really great because there's a lot of architectural eye candy throughout each ballpark. So I took one iconic portion of every ballpark, and I created some artwork around it. And the concept of minimalism is less is more. The less you have, the more that it becomes more interesting or intriguing. Or if you would recognize that one element, you know what that is. And so not only as an artist, it works on the color, the symmetry, and the lines. It's also the guessing game part of it that makes it very interesting. And so a lot of people travel around and go to a lot of ballparks, so they collect my pieces. And I think that's what makes my art unique, is that artistically it works on many levels for an art fan or a baseball fan.
Yeah. See, what I noticed with you is, I think too often people think it comes down to talent, hard work, something, nobody ever talks about enthusiasm. And I think that might have been what MLB saw in you, for real. I mean, and it comes through right now as we're talking. We can feel the enthusiasm you have for the game. If you follow him on Twitter, you you have enthusiasm for baseball. This is what you want to be doing. And I think that's the reason why MLB came to you and said, "This is our guy. Like, we want to do business with this guy because he's having a great time doing this stuff."
Right.
And enthusiasm is not talked about nearly enough for success. You have to have it.
I would say even on the field too. I think that players that are more marketable and more big. I think yes, enthusiasm is very important. How you approach, how approachable you are, and how you approach yourself is very important.
And the talent's there, of course. I mean, I bought a shirt from you, and it's amazing. I mean, it's great work, it's great art, and it's a different thing. And I mean, different is amazing when there's so much out there. It feels like everybody's doing, times 12. You find something new, and there's a million people doing the same thing. When I found your stuff, I'm like, this is new, this is unique to this guy, and I don't know anyone else doing the same stuff.
Well, to articulate a little more what the MLB wanted is, you think of, if I say sports artists, you think of a fine art painter, you think of players. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Basically, man cave type artwork,
right,
or something to get signed. And I'm trying to approach it from a different angle, which is my art is more, I consider it living room worthy, kids room worthy, more than the man cave type artwork. It's not blasted with players, not blasted with logos. I think the cool thing, so I do an exhibit every year at the All-Star Game. And I remember that first All-Star Game, we were, obviously worried. I've never sold any prints before. I had no idea what was going to happen. The cool part was these husbands or dads would come by and they're like, I love this, but my wife does not allow me to put any baseball art in the living room. And the wife would come by and they'd be like, oh, no, these are fine. You can put 2 or 3 of these. They're just the stadium. They're just clean art.
They're very clean.
I would say at least 50% of my customers are female baseball fans or wives of baseball fans that are trying to buy something that represents them and also represents something they like to get. They know their husband's a baseball fan, but this is something that they like. So that's the secret sauce that the MLB people saw. That's why I'm one of the few licensed artists, because that's a very unique take on sports art, the living room worthy sports art.
So going off that, the female angle, is that like what inspired you to do the Princess series?
Yeah. That's part of it. Absolutely. I do. I'm at the game. I'm pretty cognizant of, there's a lot of dads that bring their daughters to the game. We have a natural sense of when we see baseball, we think of, oh yeah, the little boy and the dad throwing the ball, playing catch, all those sort of things. And as I guess you and I all believe we played sports and our dad brought us to the game. But I look around, there's a lot of dads bringing their daughters to the game. There's a lot of women at the game. So I just that was just a celebration of in a different way. And being in tune with how women are sports fans. That's, they enjoy the game. They're articulate about the game, I believe. So, all my princesses are their princesses, but they wear the gear at the game and then they enjoy it. Right. That's sort of where it came from.
One of my favorite series that you have is your mascot series. I love that I saw Gritty on there. And the whole series is great because I'm like looking through and I'm just like, I recognize that one. Yeah. The Phoenix Suns guy and whoever else. And it was just very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. I really like your stuff.
Isn't it funny how mascots are very localized in that way? You probably don't know who the Anaheim Ducks mascot is, but here they love them.
Right.
And Gritty aside and Philly Fanatic aside, I know you guys, you're loved though, and I couldn't tell you who the 76ers, the Sixers mascot is, but you guys, it's a very localized, it's very well loved, and it's experienced as a kid when you go that to give a big hug to the mascot or an experience with the mascot. That's pretty unique. So that's what I love about doing the mascot art.
That's incredible. Preston, where can people find you on social media and your website as well?
So my website is sprestondesigns.com. Also, if you're on MLB or NHL, I'm licensed by both. Just search Minimalist in their stores and you'll find me. On Instagram and I'm at S Designs and on Facebook also. But on Twitter, I'm on Poot Poot. Poot.
Yeah, I was wondering, is there a story behind that?
That's another story, but I just thought, that's my voice. That's not my company's voice. Yeah. That's me there. And I just wanted something unique. And I've had Poot Poot for a while. So it's just funny. There's no reason to change it.
Love it.
That's great. S. Preston, thank you so much for being on our show with us. It was an absolute joy talking to you. And I'd love to talk to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, if we'll see you in 2026 for sure, but maybe before that.
Oh yeah, the
All-Star game. That's right.
Great.
In the meantime, expect an order from me, at least for the Fanatic and probably Gritty picture as well, because those would in fact look fantastic in my living room.
Perfect. Yes, excellent. I'd love to hook you up.
Awesome, Preston. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank you.
All right, so that was S. Preston. Fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to him. Again, make sure you go check him out. at his website. His art is fantastic. I'm going to be buying. I swear to God, I'm trying to get a Fanatic and a Gritty one. They're very, very dope. His whole shit is dope. So real quick, again, this is a 90-minute episode, but we have about 10 minutes. What should we do? We have time for definitely one, maybe not both. Should we do Go to the Week, or should we do Rapid Fires, or should we do Rapid Fire at the end? What do you guys think?
I think we should do whatever you think is right.
God damn it.
I'm terrible at making decisions.
CJ.
I'm really
go.
bad.
I say go.
Yeah,
You want to do Go to the Week?
Yeah, I
you
say
know what's
go.
hilarious? Me and my girlfriend, we're both bad at making decisions, and we're always doing stuff. And we both know, like, so what do you want to do? And whoever asks that question first, the response is always like, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're just so bad at it, and we get stressed. And I don't want to make a decision that something she doesn't want to do.
Right.
She doesn't want to make a decision I don't want to do. We're both trying to convey that we don't care, we just get stressed the hell out.
We're gonna do
It's
Go
not
to
a good way to be.
We're gonna do Go to the Week. Let's just do Go to the Week.
All
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
Might Be Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. All right, so my GOAT of the week, the greatest of all time this week, I want to say rest in peace to a champion, Niki Lauda. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I didn't know anything about Niki Lauda until I saw the movie Rush. Very good movie. I believe it's on Netflix.
Most people, yeah. I mean, it was a great movie.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. And the fact that it's based on a true story. One of motor racing's greatest drivers has died. Niki Lauda was the 3-time Formula One champion with Ferrari and McLaren in 1975, 1977, and 1984, with 2 of the wins coming after a crash that almost cost him his life. In that movie, it's very intense. CJ, have you seen Rush?
No, I haven't.
You should check it out. That scene
Rush
was
is
crazy.
fantastic. And that whole sport is outrageous.
Outrageous.
And if you go back, like, if you decided to enter this sport, you had,
The Death Wish.
yeah, it's like, it's not like you enter, people talk all the time, like the NFL. Oh, if you play football, you got your life in your hands, you're rolling the dice. No, this is like, if you were gonna like race
This is totally
F1
different.
and all that, you have a very good shot of dying.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Strong possibility.
Especially back in the 70s.
Yeah.
People died all the time.
Just testing the vehicle.
Yeah. In at the 1976 German Grand Prix, Lauda collided with a barrier and his car went up in flames. He inhaled toxic fumes and suffered horrific burns that left him close to death and with permanent facial scarring. Nevertheless, he returned to racing just 6 weeks later. He died Monday at the age of 70 following a period of declining health. In 2016, with an interview for CNN, he warned that introducing too many safety measures could damage the sport. So he was very against like changing the cars, adding too many safety features, because that basically it all made the car heavier and slower and not as much fun to watch, I guess. True champion. The movie Rush is fantastic, but this guy was a true champion and one of the craziest sports known to man.
I think you made a weird choice for Go to the Week.
Why?
Because normally when a Go to the Week is picked, it's for some kind of accomplishment of the week. You know, whether it's a great play, this or that.
Yeah.
You're commending him on dying this week.
I'm commending him for a lifetime of achievement, CJ. And we're not going to ever talk about Formula One on this show again. Probably
He did something no one else alive right now has done.
Right.
You can, I mean, no one else in the world alive right now has done what Niki Lauda did. So I mean, there's that.
CJ, go home and
Nikki
watch.
6.
Go home and watch Rush tonight.
I'll make my argument. Nikki 6 has died twice and come back.
Yeah, there's always.
But nah,
CJ
like
always
this.
has an answer.
You got to go home and watch Rush tonight, CJ. We'll talk about it. I think you'd like it. Niki Lauda is
It's a great
straight
movie.
G.
And
Yeah,
hey,
it's
if
good.
you want like some documentaries and this kind of stuff, go to chassis.com, I believe. It's Adam Carolla's production company. He's got a bunch of good racing docs. He's got one on Paul Newman. If you don't know, everybody knows Paul Newman, the actor.
Yeah.
If you asked Paul Newman right before he died, what was he first? He was a race car driver, and his acting career financed his racing career.
Huh.
And they got a 24-hour War. Great movie on all that stuff. F1, like 24 Hours of Le Mans. It's all racing mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Just great stuff. The story is amazing. Like,
Dude, some of these
Rush.
guys are really, really interesting.
They got to make more movies about this kind of stuff.
I agree.
It's-
I agree.
Whether you like the sport or not, the human element of it is
It's very, very wild.
fascinating.
Very wild. Who's your GOAT? Who you got?
My go to the week is, I admit, it's a homer pick.
Oh.
Bryce Harper.
Oh.
And you know what? I'm only doing it because he's been underappreciated all year long. He's had a down year, for sure. If you look at the numbers, down year. I think we talked on the show last week, Ryan Spader. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Reese Hoskins batting behind Bryce Harper has been playing phenomenally. Like whenever Bryce would walk, Reese would just kill it. I mean, he is having a career year. I mean, you can't exactly put it on Bryce. Obviously, Reese is his own man. He's doing great. But he's being helped by Bryce Harper immensely. And having that superstar, it's unquantifiable. But there's a reason why they're in first place right now. And yeah, they were last year too. Didn't feel like it. We knew last year. I mean, just being here, we're fans of the team. We knew it wasn't real last year.
Right.
Now this has a feeling like, yeah, we should win this division. Like we have all the talent. Bryce Harper's been playing bad, if you want to argue, sample size, you got me. But the last 4 games, he's batting, let's see. Shoot. Sorry, I just lost it. Totally unprepared. He's batting 314, I believe. His OPS 12. 1205, 2 home runs. Last 4 games, all wins. Now, last night, he was 0 for 4, whatever it was. Fine. But that kind of is my point. Even when he's going 0 for 4, there's something about having a superstar on a team where the opposing pitcher has to face him. And he knows they're coming up.
Was it last night that he made
And
that
it
really
makes
clutch
it rough.
play at to home plate, or was that the night before?
Right. I mean, and that's
He made a really
the thing.
good defensive
on
play.
defense. He's been playing phenomenally well, and that's
Yeah.
the thing that's been overlooked in the past. I mean, especially in the outfield for the Phillies for a while. Their defense has been atrocious, and still, even this year, their defense has been atrocious. More so, on the infield, but that makes a difference. He's a solid foundation guy. And even when he's batting 229, whatever he's batting right now, he hasn't turned it on yet. But when he does, that's when the wins are almost automatic.
Right.
So when he gets his streak going, 2 home runs over 4 games, and he kind of turns it on, that's when you're guaranteed to win games. When he goes on a run, you're unstoppable.
Right.
When he's not doing so well, when he's in a slump, you got all these other guys. Gene Segura, you got Reese Hoskins, a ton of guys that can pick him up. We talked about this last week. You build a roster, not so they can all click at the same time. So when some guys are down, the other guys are up. That's how you build a winning team. In baseball, it's all a series of slumps and hot streaks. And that's what the Phillies are doing so far. They're doing a great job of it. The national pundits love to focus on, what Bryce Harper's numbers are right now. Don't focus on that. What's the team doing? And right now, Bryce Harper's on a little bit of a hot streak. And if that gets really going over a long period of time, you're going to see the Phillies team. They're going to blow up. They're going to separate themselves from the Braves, the Nationals, the Mets. They can't compete with that. Once he gets going, they're unstoppable. So we're getting a little taste of that, and we'll see how that goes as the season progresses. But, I mean, shoot, we're not even into June yet.
This means, if you're hearing this music, that means that you're coming up to the end of your normal hour-long episode with us. Go to patreon.com/MBN Network. Patreon.com/MBN Network. Find us on Patreon. You can keep listening. Because after this music is over, that means the show is over. So say bye to our normal listeners, everybody. Bye.
We're going to talk
normal
about the Amazing Race. We're going to talk about The Bachelor.